Hello, English learners. Welcome back to English Practice with Julia. Today we're going to do an advanced English phrases masterclass. And I want you to feel calm and confident while you practice. This is not about memorizing hundreds of phrases like a robot. It's about learning a small number of powerful phrases, then using them in real daily life situations until they become automatic. So as you listen, pause with me, repeat after me. And if you make mistakes, that's perfect, because mistakes are proof that you are practicing, not just watching. Take a slow breath, relax your shoulders, and let's begin. Before we jump into phrases, I want you to understand one important idea. Advanced English does not mean difficult. Advanced English means accurate, natural, and flexible. It means you can express small differences in meaning, like polite versus direct, confident versus unsure, friendly versus professional. It means you can disagree without sounding rude. You can make requests without sounding desperate. You can say no without sounding cold. And you can sound fluent even when your grammar is simple. Because your phrases carry the message smoothly. Let's warm up with simple practice. I'll say a basic sentence. Then I'll say an advanced phrase you can use instead. You repeat both slowly and clearly. Ready? I think this is a good idea. Now upgrade it. I'm inclined to think this is a good idea. Again, I'm inclined to think this is a good idea. One more. Slower. I'm inclined to think this is a good idea. Good. Notice how I'm inclined to think sounds thoughtful and calm, not aggressive. Now, let's learn a set of phrases that help you sound confident without sounding arrogant. Because advanced speakers know how to balance confidence and humility. The first phrase is, from my perspective, repeat. From my perspective, again, from my perspective. This phrase is powerful because it shows that you respect other opinions. It's not saying I am right. It's saying this is how I see it. Now practice with me. From my perspective, this plan is realistic. Again, from my perspective, this plan is realistic. Now make it personal. Say your own ending. From my perspective, today is... Finish the sentence in your head, then say it out loud. Here's another phrase that makes you sound mature and clear. To be fair. Repeat. To be fair. This phrase is useful when you want to show balance. Maybe you're criticizing something, but you also want to recognize the good side. For example, to be fair, he did warn us in advance. Again, to be fair, he did warn us in advance. Another one. To be fair, the traffic was terrible. Again, to be fair, the traffic was terrible. Now you try. To be fair, I choose something honest and simple. Let's add a phrase that helps you sound fluent when you are not completely sure. As far as I can tell, repeat. As far as I can tell. This means, based on the information I have right now, it is perfect for daily life and also for professional situations. Example. As far as I can tell, The store closes at 10. Again, as far as I can tell, the store closes at 10. Another, as far as I can tell, we're on track. Again, as far as I can tell, we're on track. Now practice in a relaxed way. So, as far as I can tell, the weather will finish it. Now, I want to give you a short daily life scene. Sarji, and you will practice naturally. Imagine you are talking to a friend about a decision, maybe buying a new phone, maybe moving to a new place. Here's your practice paragraph. Say it slowly with me. From my perspective, it's worth it. But to be fair, it's a bit expensive. As far as I can tell, the quality is good. So I'm inclined to think I should buy it. Again, slower. From my perspective, it's worth it. But to be fair, it's a bit expensive. As far as I can tell, the quality is good. So I'm inclined to think I should buy it. Excellent. Now we'll work on phrases that help you disagree politely, because this is one of the strongest signs of advanced English. Beginners often disagree in a way that sounds too direct. Like, you are wrong. Advanced speakers soften the disagreement, but still stay clear. Here is a phrase you can use. I see where you're coming from, but repeat. And I see where you're coming from, but again. I see where you're coming from, but this phrase is gold. It means you understand the other person's point, and then you gently add your opinion. Example, I see where you're coming from, but I think we should wait. Again, I see where you're coming from, but I think we should wait. Another example, I see where you're coming from, but that doesn't feel practical. Repeat. Here is another polite disagreement phrase. I'm not entirely convinced that repeat. One. I'm not entirely convinced that again. I'm not entirely convinced that easier. This phrase is perfect when you want to say you disagree without sounding harsh. Example. I'm not entirely convinced that this is the best option. Says again. I'm not entirely convinced that this is the best option. Another, I'm not entirely convinced that he understood the instructions. Again. And here's a phrase for gentle correction. And I might be mistaken, but repeat. I might be mistaken, but this phrase makes you sound humble and polite, even when you are right. Example. I might be mistaken, but I think the meeting is tomorrow. Again. I might be mistaken, but I think the meeting is tomorrow. Another. I might be mistaken, but didn't. You say you already paid? Again. Now let's practice these three in one smooth flow. Listen first, then repeat. I see where you're coming from, but I'm not entirely convinced that it will work. I might be mistaken, but I think we need a different approach. Now repeat slowly. Turns. I see where you're coming from, but I'm not entirely convinced that it will work. I might be mistaken, but I think we need a different approach. Again, even slower. Good. Let's do a daily life disagreement scene. Imagine someone says, let's go out really late tonight. but you want to rest? Here is your advanced response. I see where you're coming from, but I'm not entirely convinced that staying out late is a good idea. I might be mistaken, but I think I'll feel exhausted tomorrow. Repeat. Now change it slightly. Imagine your friend wants to buy something expensive. Say to, I see where you're coming from, but I'm not entirely convinced that we need it right now. I might be mistaken, but I think we can find a cheaper option. Now we move to phrases that help you sound natural in conversation, especially when you want to change the topic, add a detail, or return to the main point. This is what fluent speakers do automatically. They guide the conversation like smooth road, not a bumpy road. Here's a phrase. That being said. Repeat. That being said. This phrase means, even though that is true, here is another point. Example. It's a nice place. That being said, it's far from my work. Repeat. It's a nice place. That being said, it's far from my work. Another. I like the idea. That being said, we should consider the cost. Repeat. Here's another conversation phrase. On that note, repeat. And on that note, this is used when you want to connect your next sentence to what was just said. Example. On that note, I should probably call her. Again. On that note, I should probably call her. Another. On that note, let's set a time and confirm. Repeat. Now a phrase to return to your main point. Circling back. Repeat. Circling back. This is useful when you talked about something else, and now you want to return. Example. Circling back. What time should we meet? Again. Circling back. What time should we meet? Another. Circling back to what you said earlier, I agree. Repeat. Let's practice in one paragraph. That being said, I don't want its rush. On that note, can we talk tomorrow? Circling back, I still need your answer about the plan. Repeat slowly. Again. Good. Now, imagine you're texting someone. Keep it friendly and clear. That being said, I'm flexible. On that note, tell me what works for you. Circling back, do you prefer morning or evening? Now let's upgrade common daily phrases into advanced ones, because many learners repeat the same simple phrases every day. And that's fine, but you want choices? You want options? So we'll take a simple phrase and upgrade it into something more natural and advanced. First simple phrase, I'm busy. Upgrade, I'm a bit tied up at the moment. Repeat, I'm a bit tied up at the moment. Another upgrade, I've got a lot on my plate right now. Repeat, I've got a lot on my plate right now. These are very natural. They sound fluent. Next simple phrase, I don't know. Upgrade, I'm not sure, to be honest. Repeat, I'm not sure, to be honest. Another upgrade, I couldn't say for certain. Repeat, I couldn't say for certain. Another upgrade, it's hard to say where. Repeat. Next simple phrase, I'll think about it. Upgrade, Let me give it some thought. Repeat. Let me give it some thought. Another upgrade? I'll sleep on it. Repeat. I'll sleep on it. This one is common and natural. It means I'll decide tomorrow. Now, we practice these upgrades in daily life sentences. I'd love to help, but I'm a bit tied up at the moment. Let me give it some thought and I'll get back to you. Repeat. I'd love to help, but I'm a bit tied up at the moment. Let me give it some thought and I'll get back to you. Again, slower. Here is a practice exercise paragraph. I want you to pause after each sentence and repeat it twice. Ready? I've got a lot on my plate right now. I couldn't say for certain, but I'll check. Let me give it some thought. I'll sleep on it. And I'll get back to you. Now go again. And keep your voice calm. Now let's focus on advanced phrases for making requests politely. This is essential because English can sound rude if you use very direct commands. Advanced speakers use softeners. Here's a phrase. Would you mind? Repeat. Would you mind? Example. Would you mind sending me the details? Repeat. Would you mind sending me the details? Is hinted the CK prison? Another but maklisikoi. Would you mind lowering the volume a little? and repeat. Here's a slightly more formal one. Would it be possible to repeat? Would it be possible to example? Would it be possible to reschedule? Repeat. Would it be possible to reschedule? Another zikrpiti. Would it be possible to get a quick update? Repeat. Sen. Now a phrase that sounds confident and polite. Could you do me a favor and repeat? Could you do me a favor and example? Could you do me a favor and hold my place in line? Repeat. Could you do me a favor and hold my place in line? Let's practice a daily life scene. You need help from a friend. Say, would you mind giving me a hand for a minute? Would it be possible to start a little later? Could you do me a favor and text me when you arrive? Repeat slowly. Again. Now we'll work on advanced phrases to express feelings and reactions. Because fluency is not only facts, it's emotion, and advanced English helps you express emotion with precision. Here's a phrase, I'm genuinely relieved. Repeat. I'm genuinely relieved. Example. I'm genuinely relieved that you're safe. Repeat. Another. I'm genuinely relieved we finished on time. Here's another. I'm a bit taken aback. Repeat. I'm a bit taken aback. This means you are surprised, maybe slightly shocked. Example. I'm a bit taken aback by what he said. Repeat. Here's another. I'm honestly thrilled. Repeat. I'm honestly thrilled. Example. I'm honestly thrilled for you. Repeat. Now practice them in one emotional paragraph. I was genuinely relieved when I heard the news, but I have to admit, I was a bit taken aback at first. Now I'm honestly thrilled about what's coming next. Repeat slowly. Good. To close this first section of our masterclass, I want you to do one longer speaking practice, and you can use it like a mini speech. Speak slowly, add natural pauses, and let your mouth relax. Here's your practice paragraph. From my perspective, learning advanced phrases is about control. To be fair, it takes time. As far as I can tell, the best progress comes from repetition. I see where you're coming from if you feel frustrated, but I'm not entirely convinced that you should quit. That being said, you can slow down and enjoy the process. On that note, let me give it some thought. I'll sleep on it as a two, and tomorrow I'll practice again. Now that you have a few core advanced phrases in your mouth, let's make your English feel even smoother in real conversations. Because advanced speaking is not only what you say, it's how you guide the conversation, how you clarify, how you soften, how you buy time, and how you respond when you don't have the perfect words. So in this section, you will learn phrases that help you sound calm, clear, and naturally fluent, even in small daily moments, like asking a question, correcting a misunderstanding, explaining a plan, or responding to someone's opinion. Take a breath and repeat with me slowly. Let's start with buying time phrases. These are essential because they stop you from panicking and they help you sound thoughtful, not rushed. Here is the first one. Britches you did. That's a good question. That is a Stern. Let me think for a second. Repeat. That's a good question. Let me think for a second. Again, slower. That's a good question. Let me think for a second. This phrase is polite and natural. Another one. Give me a moment to gather my thoughts. Repeat. Give me a moment to gather my thoughts. Again, give me a moment to gather my thoughts. Now combine them in a simple practice. That's a good question. Give me a moment to gather my thoughts. Say it twice, slowly. Now let's learn advanced clarifying phrases because misunderstandings happen every day. And advanced English is the ability to handle them smoothly. Phrase 1. Just to make sure I'm following you. Repeat. Just to make sure I'm following you. This means I want to understand you correctly. Example. Just to make sure I'm following you, you want to meet at 6, right? Repeat. Again, another very useful phrase. If I understand you correctly, repeat. If I understand you correctly, example. If I understand you correctly, you're saying we should wait. Repeat. Now, a phrase to ask for repetition politely. Could you run that by me one more time? Repeat. Could you run that by me one more time? This is more natural than repeat, please. Practice. Could you run that by me one more time? I didn't catch the last part. Repeat. Now let's practice a daily life confusion situation. Imagine someone explains directions too quickly. Your advanced response is, "That's a good question. Let me think for a second. If I understand you correctly, I should take the second left. But could you run that by me one more time? Just to make sure I'm following you." Repeat slowly. Again, and keep your voice calm. Notice how fluent it sounds when you connect phrases smoothly. Next, let's upgrade the way you add details because advanced speakers don't stop and restart all the time. They link ideas gently. Here are 3 linking phrases. On top of that, not to mention, and what's more, repeat each one slowly. On top of that, not to mention, what's more. Now use them in natural sentences. It's a long drive. On top of that, the weather looks bad. Repeat. It's a long drive. On top of that, the weather looks bad. Next, the food is expensive, Sitsu, not to mention the service is slow. Repeat. Next, the apartment is bright. What's more, it's close to everything. Repeat. Now practice with a longer paragraph. And I want you to pause after each phrase. I like the neighborhood. On top of that, it feels safe. Not to mention, it's close to the bus stop. What's more, the rent is reasonable. Repeat slowly. Again. Now switch the topic to your own life. I'm working on my English. On top of that, I'm practicing every day. Not to mention, I'm listening more. What's more, I'm speaking with more confidence. Let's learn advanced phrases for softening your tone. Because sometimes you need to be direct, but you don't want to sound rude. Here is a phrase that instantly softens a request. I was wondering if you could, Dyson some. Repeat. I was wondering if you could, my example. I was wondering if you could help me for a minute. Repeat. Another softener. When you get a chance, repeat. When you get a chance, example. When you get a chance, could you send me the address? Repeat. Another softener. If it's not too much trouble, repeat. If it's not too much trouble, example. If it's not too much trouble, could you check this? Repeat. Now do a daily life request scene. Imagine you need a small favor. Speak with me. I was wondering if you could do me a quick favor. When you get a chance, could you call me? And if it's not too much trouble, could you send me a photo of the receipt? Repeat slowly. Again. Now imagine you are speaking to someone older or someone you respect. Keep it gentle. I was wondering if you could advise me when you get a chance, if it's not too much trouble. Now we move to advanced phrases for setting boundaries. This is very important for real life because you need to say no politely. Here is a strong phrase. I'd love to, but I can't commit to that right now. Repeat. I'd love to, but I can't commit to that right now. Another. I'm not in a position to. Repeat. I'm not in a position to. Example. I'm not in a position to lend money right now. Repeat. Another. I'll have to pass this time. Repeat. I'll have to pass this time. This is friendly and firm. Now practice a full boundary paragraph. I'd love to help, but I can't commit to that right now. I'm not in a position to take on extra work. so I'll have to pass this time. Repeat slowly. Again. Now let's learn advanced phrases for agreement and support. Because fluent speakers don't only say yes, they show nuance. They show alignment. Here are 3 phrases. I couldn't agree more. You took the words right out of my mouth, and that's exactly how I see it. Repeat. I couldn't agree more. Again. I couldn't agree more. Next. You took the words right out of my mouth. Repeat. This means I was thinking the same thing. Next. That's exactly how I see it. Repeat. Now practice in a natural mini conversation paragraph. I couldn't agree more. That's exactly how I see it. Honestly, you took the words right out of my mouth. Repeat slowly. Now we'll add advanced phrases for gentle encouragement. Because daily life needs supportive language. Here are 2 strong ones. You've got this. And I have every confidence that you will. Repeat. You've got this. Now repeat the longer one. I have every confidence that you will. Example. I have every confidence that you will figure it out. Repeat. Now a phrase that sounds warm and mature. If it helps, we can take it one step at a time. Repeat. If it helps, we can take it one step at a time. Practice paragraph. You've got this. I have every confidence that you will improve, and if it helps, we can take it one step at a time. Repeat slowly. Again. Now, let's focus on advanced phrases for explaining a problem clearly. Because daily life is full of small problems. Late deliveries. Wrong orders. Broken items. And you want to explain calmly. Here is a phrase. The issue I'm running into is. Repeat. The issue I'm running into is. Example. The issue I'm running into is that the app keeps crashing. Repeat. Another phrase. What seems to be happening is. Repeat. What seems to be happening is. Example. What seems to be happening is my payment isn't going through. Repeat. Another phrase. Ideally, I'd like to. Repeat. Ideally, I'd like to. Example. Ideally, I'd like to get a refund. Repeat. Now practice a full daily life complaint paragraph, but keep it polite. Hi, the issue I'm running into is that my order arrived damaged. What seems to be happening is the box wasn't handled carefully. Ideally, I'd like to exchange it or get a refund. Repeat slowly. Again. Now change the situation to something simple like internet problems. The issue I'm running into is the internet is unstable. What seems to be happening is it disconnects every few minutes. Ideally, I'd like a quick fix. Now we'll train advanced phrases for giving suggestions without sounding bossy. This is a major fluency upgrade. Here is a phrase. It might be worth considering. Repeat. It might be worth considering. Example. It might be worth considering a different time. Repeat. Another phrase. Have you hooked a. Repeat. Have you thought about example? Have you thought about taking a word system into short break? Repeat. Another phrase, if I were you, I'd repeat. If I were you, I'd. This is common, but be careful. It can sound strong, so say it gently. Practice paragraph. It might be worth considering a smaller option. Have you thought about waiting until next week? If I were you, I'd compare a few choices first. Repeat slowly. Now, let's do a longer speaking exercise. This is your advanced daily life fluency drill. Read it slowly and imagine you are speaking to a real person. That's a good question. Give me a moment to gather my thoughts. If I understand you correctly, you want to change the plan. To be fair, I see where you're coming from. That being said, I can't commit to that right now. It might be worth considering another option. And when you get a chance, could you run the details by me one more time? Just to make sure I'm following you. Repeat. Again. And let the pauses breathe. Now I want you to do a repetition challenge, and this will build automatic fluency. Say each sentence twice, slowly. I was wondering if you could help me. When you get a chance, could you send me the address? If it's not too much trouble, could you check this? I'd love to, but I can't commit to that right now. I'll have to pass this time. The issue I'm running into is, ideally, I'd like to do it again and keep your voice steady. You're doing excellent. And if you feel tired, that is normal. Advanced phrases are like new muscles. They need repetition, not stress. So keep it slow, keep it gentle, and keep practicing, because every time you repeat these phrases, you are building a more natural English voice. Now we're going to move into a skill that instantly makes you sound advanced. The ability to tell a simple story in a natural way. And the ability to sound persuasive without sounding pushy. This matters in daily life because you're always explaining something. What happened? Why you were late? Why you changed your mind? What you want? What you prefer? And how you feel about it? Advanced phrases help you structure those moments smoothly so your English sounds organized, confident, and easy to follow. Take a slow breath and repeat with me. Let's start with storytelling phrases. These are the phrases that help you begin, connect events, and show cause and effect. The first one is long story short. Repeat. Long story short. This phrase means you will give the final summary quickly. Example. Long story short, I missed the bus. Repeat. Long story short, I missed the bus. What? Now another storytelling phrase. It turned out that. Repeat. It turned out that. This phrase is perfect when the truth appears later. Example. It turned out that the store was closed. Repeat. Another phrase. As it happens. Repeat. As it happens. This means by coincidence or actually. Example. As it happens, I know a good place. Repeat. Now let's add a phrase that shows sequence. In the meantime. Repeat. In the meantime, example. In the meantime, I'll send you the details. Repeat, another sequence phrase. After a while, repeat, sibilin. And after a while, example. After a while, it started to rain. Repeat. Now, a phrase for a small surprise in your story. To my surprise, repeat. To my surprise, example. To my surprise, it was cheaper than I expected. Repeat. Now we connect these in a short daily life story. And you repeat it slowly. Long story short, I was running late. It turned out that there was an accident on the road. In the meantime, I tried to call you. After a while, traffic moved again, and to my surprise, I still arrived on time. Repeat. Again. Slower. Keep the rhythm. Long story short, I was running late. It turned out that there was an accident on the road. In the meantime, I tried to call you. After a while, traffic moved again, and to my surprise, I still arrived on time. Now, let's practice a more emotional story. Because advanced English includes emotional nuance, we will add phrases like, I have to admit, and to be honest, and I didn't realize. First phrase, I have to admit, repeat, I have to admit. This is honest and mature. And example, I have to admit I was nervous. And repeat. The next phrase, to be honest, repeat, to be honest was example. To be honest, I didn't enjoy it. Repeat. Next phrase, I didn't realize. Is repeat. Okay. I didn't realize. Example, I didn't realize how late it was. Repeat. Now put these into a natural paragraph. To be honest, I didn't realize how much I needed a break. I have to admit, I was feeling overwhelmed. Long story short, I took a day off, and to my surprise, I felt better immediately. Repeat slowly. Again. Now change it to your own situation. Keep the same structure. To be honest, I didn't realize. I have to admit. Long story short, to my surprise. Say your version out loud. Now we move to persuasion phrases. These help you make suggestions or requests in a more advanced way, without sounding aggressive. Here's a powerful persuasion phrase. Hear me out. Repeat. Hear me out. This means, please listen before you judge. Example. Hear me out. I think this could work. Repeat. Another persuasion phrase. What I'm getting at is. Repeat. What I'm getting at is, this means my main point is. Example. What I'm getting at is we need more time. Repeat. Another persuasion phrase. The way I see it. Repeat. The way I see it. This is similar to from my perspective. Example. The way I see it, we have two options. Repeat. Now a very advanced phrase for diplomacy. With all due respect. To repeat. With all due respect. This is used when you disagree politely, but it can sound strong, so use it carefully. Example. With all due respect, I don't think that's accurate. Repeat. Another persuasion phrase for offering an alternative. Why don't we repeat? Why don't we example? Why don't we try it this way? Repeat. Now practice a persuasion paragraph for daily life. Imagine you want to convince a friend to choose a different plan. Hear me out. The way I see it, we'll save time if we leave earlier. What I'm getting at is we don't want to rush later. Why don't we meet at 5 instead? Repeat slowly. Again. Now practice a polite disagreement version. With all due respect, I see where you're coming from, but I'm not entirely convinced that it's the best choice. Hear me out. The way I see it, we can do something simpler. Repeat. Now we'll focus on small talk and social fluency. Because advanced English is not only serious conversations, it's also friendly daily interactions, greeting someone, reacting to news, showing interest, and keeping the conversation moving. Here are phrases that sound natural. How's everything going on your end? Repeat. How's everything going on your end? Another. What have you been up to lately? Repeat. What have you been up to lately? Another. That reminds me. Repeat. That reminds me. Another. Speaking of which. Repeat. Speaking of which. These two help you connect topics naturally. Now practice a small talk paragraph. Hey, how's everything going on your end? What have you been up to lately? Oh, that reminds me, I wanted to ask you something. Speaking of which, are you free this weekend? Said and repeat slowly. Again. Now make it more formal and calm. Hi, how's everything going on your end? As it happens, I was thinking about our last conversation. Speaking of which, I wanted to follow up. Repeat. Now let's add advanced reaction phrases. Because a lot of daily conversation is reacting. Here are some natural ones. No way. You're kidding. That make total sense. And how we're hin. I can relate to that. And I'm happy to hear that. Repeat each slowly. No way. You're kidding. That makes total sense. I can relate to that. I'm happy to hear that. Now practice in a smooth paragraph. No way. You're kidding. That makes total sense though. I can relate to that, and I'm happy to hear that you're okay. Repeat slowly. Now we will do a practice scene. Imagine your friend tells you they got a new job. Your advanced response, no way, that's amazing. I'm happy to hear that. To be honest, I can relate to that feeling. I have to admit, I was nervous when I started my last job, but long story short, it worked out. Repeat slowly. Now we'll train phrases that help you sound confident when you explain your opinion. It's personally, I tend to you repeat. Like personally, I tend to dang. Example. Personally, I tend to plan ahead. Repeat. At this another phrase. I'm a big believer in repeat. I'm a big believer in example. I'm a big believer in consistency. Repeat. Another. One thing I've noticed is repeat. One thing I've noticed is Example. One thing I've noticed is people respond to kindness. Repeat. Now put these in a daily life opinion paragraph. Personally, I tend to keep things simple. I'm a big believer in doing a little every day. One thing I've noticed is that small habits create big results. Repeat slowly. Again. Now, make your own version. Personally, I'm a big believer in. One thing I've noticed is say it out loud. Now we'll do a longer fluency drill that combines old and new phrases. This will make your speech flow naturally. Read slowly, Takation. That's a good question. Give me a moment to gather my thoughts. The way I see it, we have two options. To be fair, I see where you're coming from. That being said, I'm not entirely convinced it will work. Hear me out. What I'm getting at is, we need more time. In the meantime, we can do a smaller step. Long story short, I want us to avoid stress. Repeat slowly. Again, here's a practice exercise paragraph, and you will repeat line by line. To be honest, I didn't realize how much time it would take. It turned out that the process was more complicated. In the meantime, I did what I could. After a while, it got easier. To my surprise, I improved quickly. Long story short, consistency helped. Now, repeat the whole paragraph smoothly. Now, one more daily life storytelling practice. Imagine you are explaining why you didn't reply to a message. Use this paragraph. I have to admit, I saw your message, but I didn't realize how busy my day would be. It turned out that I had more tasks than expected. In the meantime, I kept thinking I would reply later. After a while, it was already late. Long story short, I'm sorry for the delay. Repeat slowly, again, and feel the natural rhythm. You are building real advanced fluency because these phrases are not isolated. They connect your thoughts smoothly. And remember, you do not need to sound perfect. You need to sound clear, natural, and confident. Let's go deeper into a very advanced skill, tact. This is the ability to communicate clearly while protecting relationships. In daily life, tact shows up everywhere. When you negotiate a plan, when you ask someone to change their behavior, when you give feedback, when you set a boundary, when you ask for a discount, when you ask for help, or when you say no in a respectful way. Advanced English phrases make tact easier because they give you ready-made language that sounds calm and professional, even in casual conversations. So in this section, you will learn phrases for negotiation, diplomacy, uncertainty, and comparisons. And then you will practice them in long role-play paragraphs slowly, with pauses. First, negotiation phrases that soften your request. The first phrase is there any chance we could repeat? Is there any chance we could? Example. Is there any chance we could meet a little earlier? Repeat slowly. Another negotiation phrase, would you be open to? You repeat. Would you be open to the since? Example. Would you be open to switching days? Repeat. To switching days? Repeat. Another very useful phrase. Marubin. What would it take to repeat? What would it take to example? What would it take to get this delivered today? Repeat. Now, we add a phrase for compromise. I'm happy to meet you halfway. Repeat. I'm happy to meet you halfway. This means you are willing to compromise. Example. I'm happy to meet you halfway. We can leave at 6 instead of 5. Repeat. Another compromise phrase. How about we split the difference? Repeat. How about we split the difference? This is very natural. Example. You want 8. I want 6. How about we split the difference and do 7? Repeat. Now practice in a daily life negotiation paragraph. Imagine you and a friend are choosing a time to meet. Is there any chance we could meet at 5? If not, would you be open to meeting at 6? I'm happy to meet you halfway. How about we split the difference and do 5:30? Repeat slowly. Again. Now imagine you are negotiating with a service person. Is there any chance we could schedule this for tomorrow? Would you be open to a shorter appointment? What would it take to get this done today? Repeat. Now let's learn tact phrases for giving feedback. Because advanced speakers know how to be honest without being harsh. Here's a phrase that softens feedback. If I'm being honest, repeat. If I'm being honest. And nutty winams. Another, I don't mean to be difficult, but repeat. I don't mean to be difficult, but this is very useful when you need to complain politely. Another phrase, I see what you were going for, but repeat. I see what you were going for, but this is gentle feedback on someone's idea. Another phrase, it might come across as repeat. It might come across as this helps you describe how something sounds to other people. Now practice feedback in one smooth paragraph. If I'm being honest, I think the timing is a little tight. I don't mean to be difficult, but I'm worried we'll rush. I see what you were going for, but it might come across as too intense. Would you be open to a simpler version? Repeat slowly, again, and keep a soft tone. Now, we'll learn phrases for expressing uncertainty in an advanced way. Because life is not always certain, but you still want to sound fluent. Here are powerful phrases. I can't say for sure, but repeat. I can't say for sure, but now it's first and where's another Martin. There's a chance that it's repeat. There's a chance that meet another. I'm leaning toward. Repeat. Already I'm leaning toward. Another. I'm on the fence about it. Or repeat. And I'm on the fence about it. Or is known. This means you are undecided. Another phrase. I'm not ruling it out. Repeat. I'm not ruling it out. This means I'm not saying no. Now use them in daily life sentences. I can't say for sure, but I think it'll rain later. Repeat. There's a chance that we'll be late. Repeat. I'm leaning toward staying in tonight. Repeat. I'm on the fence about buying it. Repeat. I'm not ruling it out, but I need to think. Repeat. Now a longer uncertainty paragraph. I can't say for sure, but I'm leaning toward changing the plan. To be fair, I'm on the fence about it. There's a chance that it could be better, so I'm not ruling it out. I just need a little time to think. Repeat slowly. Again. Now you try with your own topic. Use the same structure. Say it out loud. Now let's learn comparison phrases that sound very natural and advanced, because daily life is full of comparing options. 2 phones, 2 apartments, 2 jobs, 2 plans. Here are key phrases. All things considered. Repeat, all things considered. Wenjidin. This means when you consider everything. Example, all things considered, it's a good deal. Repeat, karuchak. Another phrase. That being the case, emergut repeat. That being the case. This means if that is true, then example. That being the case, we should leave now. Repeat. Another phrase, compared to, repeat. Compared to, another phrase, on the plus side. Repeat, on the plus side. Another, on the downside. Repeat, on the downside. Now practice in a comparison paragraph. All things considered, this option seems better. Compared to the other one, it's more reliable. On the plus side, it's cheaper. On the downside, it takes longer. That being the case, I'm leaning toward the cheaper one. Repeat slowly. Again. Now we'll practice a realistic decision-making scene. Imagine you are choosing between 2 apartments. Say this slowly. All things considered, the first apartment feels more comfortable. Compared to the second one, it's brighter and quieter. On the plus side, it's closer to my work. On the downside, it's slightly more expensive. That being the case, now I'm on the fence, but I'm leaning toward the first one. Repeat slowly. Again. Now switch the topic to a phone or a laptop. Keep the same pattern. Now let's add tact phrases for pushing back gently. This is very advanced. Because instead of saying no directly, you redirect the conversation. Here are useful phrases. I'm not sure that's the best approach. Repeat. I'm not sure that's the best approach. Another? I hear you, but I'm hesitant to. Repeat. I hear you, but I'm hesitant to. Another. I'd prefer not to. Repeat. And I'd prefer not to. Another. Let's hold off for now. Repeat. Let's hold off for now. Another. Let's revisit this later. Repeat. Let's revisit this later. Now practice a pushback paragraph. I hear you, but I'm hesitant to decide right now. I'm not sure that's the best approach. All things considered, I'd prefer not to rush. Let's hold off for now, and let's revisit this later. Repeat slowly. Again. Now we do a long role play practice. And I want you to imagine you are speaking calmly and confidently. You will use negotiation, tact, uncertainty, and comparison phrases in one flow. Yet, repeat after me. I don't mean to be difficult, but I have a concern. Is there any chance we could adjust the timing? If not, would you be open to a smaller change? All things considered, I think it would help. On the plus side, it will reduce stress. On the downside, it may take a little longer. That being the case, I'm leaning toward the safer option. I'm happy to meet you halfway. How about we split the difference? Repeat slowly. Again, now a second long role play. Imagine you are talking to a store employee about a return. Keep your tone polite. Hi, I don't mean to be difficult, but the issue I'm running into is this item doesn't work. If I'm being honest, I was taken aback. Is there any chance we could exchange it today? If not, what would it take to process a refund quickly? I'm happy to meet you halfway if there's a simple solution. I can't say for sure what happened, but it turned out that it stopped working after one day. Repeat slowly. Again. Now a third role play. Imagine your friend wants you to do something you don't want to do. Set a boundary politely. I hear you and I appreciate you asking, but I'm hesitant to commit. I'm on the fence about it. And all things considered, I'd prefer not to. I'm not ruling it out forever. But let's hold off for now and revisit it later. If it helps, I'm happy to meet you halfway in a different way. Repeat slowly. Now we close this section with a short repetition drill. And this is important because repetition is how phrases become automatic. Say each sentence twice. Is there any chance we could? Would you be open to? What would it take to? I'm happy to meet you halfway. How about we split the difference? I can't say for sure, but I'm leaning toward. I'm on the fence. All things considered. On the plus side. On the downside. That being the case, you are building a very real advanced speaking toolbox, and you're also building a calm communication style. This is what makes you sound fluent, even if your vocabulary is not huge. Now, we're going to work on something that changes how people hear your English. Confidence and emphasis, not loud confidence, not aggressive confidence, but calm confidence. The kind that sounds steady. The kind that makes people trust you. In daily life, you need this when you explain your needs, when you talk about money, when you express disappointment, when you set limits, or when you share a strong opinion. Advanced phrases help you do it without sounding rude. So as you repeat today, keep your voice soft, your pace slow, and your message clear. Let's begin with advanced phrases for calm confidence. The first one is, I want to be clear. Repeat, I want to be clear. This phrase prepares the listener, and it helps you sound direct in a respectful way. Example, I want to be clear, I'm not upset. I just need more time. Repeat slowly. Another confidence phrase. What I need is, repeat, what I need is, example. What I need is a little space to think. Repeat. Another one. Here's where I stand. Repeat. Here's where I stand. Example. Here's where I stand. I'm willing to help, but I can't do it today. Repeat. Repeat. Now, we add emphasis phrases. Centered. These phrases make your point stronger without adding drama. The first one is, the key point is, repeat. The key point is, another. What matters most is, repeat. What matters most is, another. At the end of the day, repeat. At the end of the day, this means when everything is considered, and it sounds very natural. Like, practice in short sentences. The key point is we need clarity. Repeat. What matters most is we stay calm. Repeat. At the end of the day, I want a simple solution. Repeat. Now let's practice a strong but polite paragraph. And I want you to copy the rhythm. I want to be clear. I'm not trying to cause problems. The key point is, I need an answer today. What matters most is that we respect each other's time. At the end of the day, I'm looking for a fair outcome. Repeat slowly, again, softer and calm. Now we move into sensitive topics. Because advanced English includes the ability to speak carefully, some topics are sensitive, like money, personal boundaries, criticism, health, family issues, or uncomfortable behavior. When you speak about these things, you need softeners. These are phrases that reduce tension and protect relationships. Here is one of the best. I don't want this to come across the wrong way, but repeat. I don't want this to come across the wrong way, but another softener. I hope you don't take this personally, but repeat. I hope you don't take this personally, but another. I'm bringing this up because I care. Repeat. I'm bringing this up because I care. Another. This is a bit awkward to say, but repeat. This is a bit awkward to say, but. Now, we practice the sensitive conversation paragraph. Imagine you need to mention a problem with someone's behavior. I don't want this to come across the wrong way, but I've noticed something. I hope you don't take this personally, but it's been affecting me. This is a bit awkward to say, but I need a little more consideration. I'm bringing this up because I care and I want things to feel better between us. Repeat slowly. Again. Now let's work on strong opinions. Advanced English is not only polite, it can also be firm. But firm does not mean rude. Here are phrases for strong opinions with control. What's a rule? Or I feel strongly about this. And one, repeat, and you're queen. I feel strongly about this. Another, I'm convinced that repeat, I'm convinced that, hey, there's the curve. And another, I can't get behind that. Repeat, I can't get behind that. This means I can't support that. Another, that doesn't sit right with me. Repeat, that doesn't sit right with me. This means something feels wrong or unfair. Now practice these in real daily life sentences. I feel strongly about keeping promises. Repeat. I'm convinced that practice every day works. Repeat, I can't get behind that plan. Repeat, that doesn't sit right with me. Repeat, now let's add phrases for expressing disappointment or frustration with maturity. Here are strong but polite phrases. I have to be honest, I'm disappointed. Repeat, I have to be honest, I'm disappointed. Another, I was expecting something different. Repeat, I was expecting something different. Another, this isn't what we agreed on. Repeat, this isn't what we agreed on. Another, I'm not comfortable with that. Repeat, I'm not comfortable with that. Now practice a disappointment paragraph and keep it calm. I have to be honest, I'm disappointed. I was expecting something different. This isn't what we agreed on, and I'm not comfortable with it. I want to be clear. I'm not trying to argue. I just want to fix this fairly. Repeat slowly, again. Now let's learn phrases for boundaries that sound confident and respectful. I'm going to have to decline. Repeat. I'm going to have to decline. Another. That won't work for me. Repeat. That won't work for me. Another. I'm not available for that. Repeat. I'm not available for that. Another. I need to draw a line here. Repeat. I need to draw a line here. This can sound strong, so say it gently. Another. I'm willing to help within limits. Repeat. I'm willing to help within limits. Now practice a boundary paragraph that still feels kind. Thank you for asking, but I'm going to have to decline. That won't work for me, and I'm not available for that right now. I need to draw a line here, but I'm willing to help. Within limits. If you want, I can help you tomorrow for a short time. Repeat slowly. Again. Now we combine sensitive topic softeners with strong boundaries because this is advanced communication. I hope you don't take this personally, but I need to be honest. That doesn't sit right with me. I want to be clear. I'm not comfortable with it. At the end of the day, what matters most is mutual respect. So I'm going to have to decline. Repeat slowly. Again. Now let's work on phrases for reassurance and emotional intelligence. Because advanced English often sounds warm and steady. Here are phrases that show empathy. I can see how that would be stressful. Repeat. I can see how that would be stressful. Another. That sounds really tough. Repeat. That sounds really tough. Another. Ikuhinman much. I appreciate you telling me. Repeat. I appreciate you telling me. Another. I'm here for you. And repeat. I'm here for you. Now practice a supportive paragraph. I can see how that would be stressful. That sounds really tough. I appreciate you telling me, and I'm here for you. If it helps, we can take it one step at a time. What matters most is that you don't carry this alone. Repeat slowly. Again. Now, we'll do a long fluency drill that includes confidence, emphasis, sensitive softeners, strong opinion, and boundaries. Read it slowly like a real conversation. I don't want this to come across the wrong way, but I need to say something. I feel strongly about this, and I want to be clear. This isn't what we agreed on, and I'm not comfortable with it. The key point is that we need clarity. What matters most is respect. Mm. At the end of the day, I'm going to have to decline. I hope you don't take this personally. I'm bringing this up because I care. Repeat slowly. Again. Now here is your repetition exercise paragraph. You will repeat each sentence twice and keep your pauses natural. I want to be clear. The key point is this. What matters most is respect. At the end of the day, I need a simple solution. I don't want this to come across the wrong way. I hope you don't take this personally. I have to be honest. I'm disappointed. I'm not comfortable with that. I'm going to have to decline. That won't work for me. You're learning something powerful here because your English is becoming not just correct, but controlled. Your phrases are helping you express your needs, your emotions, and your boundaries with calm authority. Now, we're going to train a very advanced life skill in English, repairing situations smoothly. This is the ability to apologize without sounding weak, to handle conflict without sounding angry, and to find compromise without losing your boundaries. In daily life, misunderstandings are normal. People misread messages, plans change, emotions get strong, and small problems can become big if you don't know how to repair them. Advanced phrases give you a calm script so you can stay respectful and clear, even when you feel pressure. So keep your pace slow, breathe, and repeat with me. Let's start with professional, mature apology phrases. Many learners only say sorry again and again, but advanced speakers have options. First phrase, I apologize for the inconvenience. Repeat, I apologize for the inconvenience. This is common in service situations. Next phrase, that was my mistake. Repeat, that was my mistake. This sounds honest and responsible. Next phrase, I take full responsibility for that. Repeat, I take full responsibility for that. Next phrase, I should have been more clear. Repeat, I should have been more clear. Next phrase, thanks for your patience. Repeat, thanks for your patience. This is a very polite way to soften the situation. Now practice a full apology paragraph. I apologize for the inconvenience. That was my mistake, and I take full responsibility for that. I should have been more clear earlier. Thanks for your patience. Kirkran, and I'll make sure it doesn't happen again. Sari, repeat slowly. Again. Now we add apology phrases for daily life with warmth. I'm sorry if that came across the wrong way. Repeat. I'm sorry if that came across the wrong way. This is perfect when your tone was misunderstood. Another. I didn't mean it like that. Repeat. I didn't mean it like that. Another. That's on me. Repeat. That's on me. This is casual, but natural. Another. I really appreciate you bringing it up. Repeat. I really appreciate you bringing it up. This shows maturity. Now practice a daily life repair paragraph. I'm sorry if that came across the wrong way. I didn't mean it like that. That's on me. And I really appreciate you bringing in up. I want to be clear. I respect you. And I want us to be okay. Repeat slowly. Again, now we move to conflict handling phrases. This is where you sound advanced because you stay calm and structured. Here are key phrases. Let's take a step back. Repeat. Let's take a step back. Another. I don't want this to turn into an argument. Repeat. I don't want this to turn into an argument. Another. Can we reset for a second? Repeat. Can we reset for a second? Another. I think we're talking past each other. Repeat. I think we're talking past each other. This means you're not understanding each other properly. Another. Let's focus on the solution. Repeat. Let's focus on the solution. Now, practice a conflict calm paragraph. Let's take a step back. I don't want this to turn into an argument. Can we reset for a second? I think we're talking past each other. Let's focus on the solution. Repeat slowly. Again. Now we add phrases for compromise and repair. I hear your concerns. Repeat. I hear your concerns. Another. I'm willing to work with you on this. Repeat. I'm willing to work with you on this. Another. Let's find a middle ground. Repeat. Let's find a middle ground. Another. What would feel fair to you? Repeat. What would feel fair to you? Another. Here's what I can do. Repeat. Here's what I can do. Another. Here's what I can do. Repeat. Here's what I can't do. These two make boundaries clear while offering help. Now practice a compromise paragraph. I hear your concerns, and I'm willing to work with you on this. Let's find a middle ground. What would feel fair to you? Here's what I can do, girl. And here's what I can't do, and all things considered, I think that's reasonable. Repeat slowly. Again. Now, we create realistic daily life role plays. First role play, a misunderstanding by text. Imagine you sent a short message and the other person felt hurt. Your advanced repair response. I'm sorry if that came across the wrong way. I didn't mean it like that. I should have been more clear. That's on me. Can we reset for a second? I don't want this to turn into an argument. I hear your concerns, and I'm willing to work with you on this. Let's focus on the solution. Repeat slowly. Again. Second role play. You were late to meet someone, and they are annoyed. Use this paragraph. I apologize for the inconvenience. That was my mistake. I should have left earlier. Thanks for your patience. I know your time matters. Let's take a step back. I don't want this to be a bad moment. Here's what I can do. I'll make it up to you and I'll be on time next time. Repeat slowly. Again. Third role play. You forgot to do something. And you want to sound responsible. That was my mistake. I take full responsibility for that. I should have been more careful. I really appreciate you bringing it up. Here's what I can do. I'll fix it today, and I'll update you when it's done. Or repeat slowly, again. Now we practice conflict resolution with a calm structure. Because advanced speakers guide the conversation like a leader. Here is a structured paragraph you can use in many situations. Let's take a step back. I want to be clear. I'm not trying to blame anyone. I think we're talking past each other. I hear your concerns. And I want to understand you correctly. If I understand you correctly, you're saying this feels unfair. That being said, here's where I stand. Here's what I can do. Here's what I can't do. Let's find a middle ground. What would feel fair to you? Repeat slowly. Again. Now we add advanced phrases for repairing trust. This is very strong English because it shows emotional maturity. I understand why you feel that way. Repeat. I understand why you feel that way. Another. Your feelings are valid. Repeat. Your feelings are valid. Another. I'm not dismissing your experience. Repeat. I'm not dismissing your experience. Another. I want to make things right. Repeat. I want to make things right. Another. What can I do to rebuild trust? Repeat. What can I do to rebuild trust? Now practice a trust repair paragraph. I understand why you feel that way. Your feelings are valid, and I'm not dismissing your experience. I want to make things right. What can I do to rebuild trust? I'm willing to work with you on this. Repeat slowly. Again. Now let's practice a service complaint with calm repair language. Imagine you received the wrong item. Hi, I don't mean to be difficult, but the issue I'm running into is that this is not what I ordered. Obama, I apologize if I'm missing something, but I'd like to clarify. If I understand you correctly, the system shows it was delivered correctly. That being said, I'm looking at it now, and it's different. I hear your concerns, and I'm willing to work with you. What would it take to fix this today? Ideally, I'd like an exchange. Repeat slowly, again. Now we do a listening and repeating drill to make these automatic. Say each sentence twice, slowly. Let's take a step back. Can we reset for a second? I don't want this to turn into an argument. I think we're talking past each other. Let's focus on the solution. I apologize for the inconvenience. That was my mistake. I take full responsibility for that. I should have been more clear. Thanks for your patience. I hear your concerns. Let's find a middle ground. What would feel fair to you? Here's what I can do. Here's what I can't do. Now a final long fluency paragraph for this part. and I want you to read it like a calm conversation. I'm sorry if that came across the wrong way. I should have been more clear. That's on me. Let's take a step back. I don't want this to turn into an argument. I understand why you feel that way. Your feelings are valid. I hear your concerns. And I'm willing to work with you on this. Let's focus on the solution. Here's what I can do. And here's what I can't do. What would feel fair to you? Repeat slowly. Again, you're training a very high-level form of English, not just words, but behavior through language. This is what makes you sound advanced in real life. Now we're going to sharpen your English with clarity and precision, because this is one of the biggest differences between intermediate and advanced speaking. Advanced speakers don't just speak more, they speak more accurately. They choose words that match the exact meaning. And they can show subtle differences, like slightly annoyed versus furious, or possible versus likely, or a preference versus a requirement. When you learn these phrase patterns, your English becomes cleaner, calmer, and more trustworthy. So in this part, we will practice precision language, and we will practice quick responses for fast conversations, slowly, with plenty of pauses. Let's start with a powerful clarity phrase. Just to clarify, repeat, just to clarify. Arbhart. This phrase is a lifeline in fast conversations, because it gives you permission to slow down and confirm details. Example. Just to clarify, do you mean today or tomorrow? Repeat slowly. Again. Another clarity phrase. To be specific. Repeat. To be specific. Example. To be specific, I'm available after 7. Repeat. Another one. What I mean is, repeat. What I mean is, example. What I mean is, I need more time. Repeat. Another one. In other words, repeat. In other words, example. In other words, we should wait. Repeat. Now practice a clarity paragraph. Just to clarify, I'm not saying no. What I mean is, I need to check first. To be specific, I can confirm by tonight. In other words, I'll get back to you soon. Repeat slowly. Again. And keep the tone calm. Now let's train subtle difference phrases, because advanced English often lives in small differences. First, the difference between a preference and a requirement. Here are 2 phrases. Ideally, I'd like to, and I need to. Repeat. Ideally, I'd like to. Now, I need to. Notice the difference. Ideally is flexible. I need is not flexible. Practice in 2 sentences. Ideally, I'd like to meet at 6, but I need to be home by 8. Repeat slowly. Again, now your turn. Ideally, I'd like to, and then, but I need to. Say it out loud. Now, the difference between possible and likely. Advanced speakers show probability clearly. Here are phrases. There's a slight chance that and there's a good chance that Through repeat. There's a slight chance that now. There's a good chance that practice. There's a slight chance that it will rain, but there's a good chance that it will be windy. Repeat slowly. Again. Now use it for plans. There's a slight chance I'll be late, but there's a good chance I'll arrive on time. Repeat. Now the difference between I think and I'm certain. Here are advanced phrases for confidence level. My sense is that sounds gentle and thoughtful. I'm confident that sounds stronger. Repeat. My sense is that. Repeat. I'm confident that. Practice. My sense is that we should wait a bit, but I'm confident that we can solve it. Repeat slowly. Now let us train precision for emotions, because daily life is emotional, and advanced English helps you express feelings without being dramatic. Here are phrases that communicate subtle emotion. I'm a bit uneasy about. Repeat. I'm a bit uneasy about. Another. I'm mildly concerned. Repeat. I'm mildly concerned. Another. I'm genuinely grateful. Repeat. I'm genuinely grateful. Another. I'm slightly frustrated. Repeat. I'm slightly frustrated. Another. I'm completely overwhelmed. Repeat. Notice the scale. Slightly. Mildly. Completely. Now practice an emotional precision paragraph. To be honest, I'm mildly concerned about the timing. I'm slightly frustrated because it changed last minute. That being said, I'm genuinely grateful you told me. My sense is that we can fix it. I just need a clear plan. Repeat slowly with Sir crying. Again. Now we move into idiomatic phrasing. Idioms can be risky if you use them wrong. So we will use safe, common idiomatic phrases that sound natural in daily life. First, it slipped my mind. Repeat, it slipped my mind. This means you forgot. Example, I'm sorry, it slipped my mind. Repeat, another idiomatic phrase, I'm all set. Repeat, I'm all set. This means you don't need anything else. Example, no thanks, I'm all set. You. Repeat. Another. I'm good to go. Repeat. I'm good to go. This means you are ready. Another. Está ko kasing si. That works for me. I repeat. That works for me. Another. I'll play it by ear. Repeat. I'll play it by ear. This means you will decide later depending on the situation. Now practice a daily life idiom paragraph. Thanks, I'm all set. I'm good to go whenever you are. 6 o'clock works for me, and if anything changes, we can play it by ear. Repeat slowly. Again. Now, let's add idiomatic phrases for common conversation problems, like when you want someone to be patient or when you want to move on. Here are safe phrases. Bear with me. Repeat. Bear with me. This means, please be patient with me. Another. Let me walk you through it. Repeat. Let me walk you through it. This means I'll explain step by step. Another? Let's touch base later. Repeat. True. Let's touch base later. True. This means let's talk again later. Another? I'll keep you posted. Repeat. I'll keep you posted. This means I'll update you. Now practice a smooth paragraph with these. Bear with me for a second. Let me walk you through it. Just to clarify, I'm not finished yet. I'll keep you posted, and we can touch base later. Repeat slowly. Again. Now we train fast conversation control. Because when people speak quickly, learners often freeze. Advanced speakers don't freeze. They use short control phrases that slow the moment without sounding weak. Here are phrases to manage speed. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Repeat. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Another. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Repeat. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Another. Could you slow down a bit? Repeat. Could you slow down a bit? What? Another. Can you say that one more time? Repeat. Can you say that one more time? Another. Let me make sure I got this right. Repeat. Let me make sure I got this right. Now practice a fast conversation paragraph. Imagine someone is speaking quickly. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you slow down a bit? Let me make sure I got this right. In other words, you want me to come at 7, right? Repeat slowly. Again. Now add more precision. Just to clarify, when you say later, do you mean tonight or tomorrow? To be specific, what time should I be there? Repeat. Now we'll practice tightening your sentences. Advanced English is often shorter and cleaner, not longer. In cover, here's a pattern. You state the point. Then you confirm the action. Use phrases like, so, the plan is, and here's what I'll do. Repeat. So, the plan is, now, here's what I'll do. Practice. So, the plan is to meet at 6. Here's what I'll do. I'll be there 5 minutes early. Repeat slowly. Again. Now we do a longer role play that includes clarity, probability, idioms, and fast control phrases. Read slowly like you're speaking to a real person. Bear with me for a second. Let me walk you through it. Just to clarify, I'm not saying it's impossible. There's a slight chance we'll be delayed. But there's a good chance we'll arrive on time. To be specific, I'll leave at 5. So, the plan is to meet at 6. If anything changes, I'll keep you posted. And we can play it by ear. Repeat slowly, Krizu, again. Now a second role play, so a small conflict repair in a fast moment. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you slow down a bit? Let me make sure I got this right. My sense is that you felt ignored. If I'm being honest, it slipped my mind to reply. That's on me. I'm genuinely sorry. What I mean is, I respect you. And I want to make it right. Repeat slowly. Again. Now your practice exercise paragraph for precision, and you will repeat it twice. Just to clarify, I'm available after 7. To be specific, I can do 7:30. Ideally, I'd like to keep it short, but I need to be done by 9. There's a slight chance I'll be delayed, but there's a good chance I'll be on time. If anything changes, I'll keep you posted. That works for me. Repeat slowly. Again, now your practice exercise paragraph for fast response control. Repeat it twice. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Can you say that one more time? Let me make sure I got this right. In other words, you want me to confirm today, right? Okay. I'm on the fence, but I'm leaning toward yes. I'll sleep on it. And I'll get back to you tonight. Repeat slowly. Again. You're doing something very advanced now. You're not only learning phrases, you're learning control. And control is what makes fast conversations feel safe. The goal is not to speak quickly. The goal is to stay clear when other people speak quickly. Now we're going to bring everything together. And this will feel like a full fluency run. The goal here is simple. You will hear advanced phrases in a natural flow. You will repeat them. And you will start to feel how they connect like a smooth chain. So don't rush. Keep your breathing steady. And remember, fluency is built through calm repetition, not pressure, not perfection, just steady practice. First, let's do a full warm-up paragraph, and I want you to repeat it 2 times, slowly. That's a good question. Give me a moment to gather my thoughts. From my perspective, this is worth doing. To be fair, it will take time. But as far as I can tell, consistency is the key. The key point is this. What matters most is practicing in real situations. At the end of the day, you've got this. And I have every confidence that you will improve. Now repeat again, softer, slower, and let the pauses breathe. Now imagine a daily life situation. You're making plans with someone, and you want to sound flexible but clear. Repeat this whole paragraph. Hey, how's everything going on your end? Speaking of which, are you free later? Ideally, I'd like to meet around 6, but I need to be home by 8. Is there any chance we could do 6? If not, would you be open to 7? I'm happy to meet you halfway. How about we split the difference and do 6:30? That works for me. And if anything changes, we can play it by ear. Repeat the same paragraph again. And keep your tone friendly and relaxed. Now imagine someone is speaking fast, and you want to control the speed without sounding nervous. Repeat this paragraph. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you slow down a bit? Can you say that one more time? Just to clarify, when you say later, do you mean tonight or tomorrow? Let me make sure I got this right. In other words, you want me to confirm by tonight, is suhuin right? To be specific, what time do you need an answer? Unnaan. Repeat again. And notice how confident you sound when you use these control phrases. Now we'll practice an advanced apology and repair moment. This is one of the most important real-life skills. Repeat this paragraph slowly. I'm sorry if that came across the wrong way. I didn't mean it like that. I should have been more clear. That was my mistake, and I take full responsibility for that. I really appreciate you bringing it up. Let's take a step back. I don't want this to turn into an argument. I think we're talking past each other. So let's focus on the solution. I want to make things right. Repeat again. And keep the energy calm, like you're protecting the relationship. Now we'll practice a polite complaint, the kind that sounds mature and clear. Repeat this paragraph. Hi, I don't mean to be difficult, but the issue I'm running into is that this isn't working properly. What seems to be happening is it stops suddenly. I can't say for sure why, but it turned out that it happened twice today. Ideally, I'd like to exchange it or get a refund. What would it take to solve this today? Thanks for your patience. I appreciate your help. Repeat again and keep your voice respectful. Now we practice tact and boundaries because advanced speakers can say no without drama. Repeat this paragraph. Thank you for asking. I appreciate it, but I'm going to have to decline. I'd love to help, but I can't commit to that right now. All things considered, I have a lot on my plate, and I need to draw a line here. That being said, I'm willing to help within limits. Here's what I can do. I can help you tomorrow for a short time. Here's what I can't do. I can't take responsibility for the whole thing. I hope you don't take this personally. I'm bringing this up because I care. Repeat again, and notice how firm but kind it sounds. Now, we'll practice persuasion without pushing. Imagine you want someone to consider your idea. Repeat this paragraph. Hear me out. The way I see it, we have two options. To be fair, your idea could work. That being said, I'm not entirely convinced it's the best approach. What I'm getting at is we need something simpler. On the plus side, it will save time. On the downside, it may cost a little more. That being the case, it might be worth considering a different plan. Would you be open to trying it once, and then we can revisit it later? Repeat again, slower, with a calm, confident tone. Now we practice emotional precision because this makes you sound truly advanced. Repeat this paragraph. To be honest, I'm mildly concerned about the timing. I'm slightly frustrated because it changed last minute. That doesn't sit right with me. But I want to be clear. I'm not upset with you. Soon. What I mean is, I need a bit more stability. I'm genuinely grateful you told me, and I'm confident that we can handle it if we communicate clearly. Repeat again, and keep the emotion steady, not dramatic. Now, let's do a daily life storytelling run. And I want you to focus on smooth flow. Repeat this paragraph. I have to admit, I was nervous today. Long story short, I had to handle something unexpected. It turned out that the place was closed when I arrived. In the meantime, I tried to find another option. After a while, I figured it out. And to my surprise, everything worked out better than I expected. On that note, I learned something. One thing I've noticed is that staying calm helps me think clearly. Repeat again, and let the phrases connect naturally. Now we'll do a longer masterclass practice paragraph that combines almost everything. This is your full fluency chain. Repeat slowly. That's a good question. Give me a moment to gather my thoughts. From my perspective, we should keep it simple. To be fair, I see where you're coming from. But I'm not entirely convinced that rushing is a good idea. That being said, I'm happy to meet you halfway. Is there any chance we could adjust the timing? Ideally, I'd like to start at 6, but I need to finish by 9. There's a slight chance I'll be delayed, but there's a good chance I'll be on time. If anything changes, I'll keep you posted. Just to clarify, do you want me to confirm today? In other words, you need an answer by tonight, right? Okay. I'm on the fence, but I'm leaning toward yes. Let me give it some thought. I'll sleep on it, and I'll get back to you. Repeat again, and keep the pace slow. Now we do a conflict repair version of that fluency chain. Repeat this paragraph. Let's take a step back. Can we reset for a second? I don't want this to turn into an argument. I understand why you feel that way. Your feelings are valid, and I'm not dismissing your experience. I'm sorry if that came across the wrong way. I should have been more clear. That was my mistake. I hear your concerns, and I'm willing to work with you on this. Let's find a middle ground. What would feel fair to you? Here's where I stand. And says Gruber, here's what I can do. And here's what I can do. It is one. At the end of the day, what matters most is respect, and I want to make things right. Repeat again and feel how powerful and calm it sounds. Now here is a final repetition drill paragraph. And you can use this anytime you practice alone. Read it like a gentle rhythm. Just to clarify, to be specific, what I mean is, in other words, from my perspective, the way I see it, to be fair, that being said, all things considered, on the plus side, on the downside, that being the case, hear me out. I see where you're coming from, but I'm not entirely convinced that. I might be mistaken, but I'm leaning toward. I'm on the fence. I'm not ruling it out. Would you be open to? Is there any chance we could? What would it take to? I'm happy to meet you halfway. Let's take a step back. Let's focus on the solution. I apologize for the inconvenience. That was my mistake. Thanks for your patience. I'll keep you posted. That works for me. I'm all set. I'm good to go. Read it again, slowly, and make it feel like one smooth piece of speech. Before we close, I want you to remember the real secret. Advanced phrases are not decorations. They are tools. They help you sound respectful, clear, and emotionally intelligent. They help you manage fast conversations, handle conflict, and express your opinion with control. So choose a few favorite phrases from today. Practice them every day and use them in your real conversations, even if it's just one sentence at a time. Thank you for practicing with me today. Keep going. Keep it slow. Keep it steady. And trust the process, because the more you repeat these phrases calmly, the more natural your English will feel, And one day you will notice something beautiful. You won't be searching for words. The words will be there, ready, confident, and clear.